I'll continue to use Taiwan to change the name. That's where most of them are coming from. And there's chip factories in the States. They're building 2 or 3, building one in Arizona. I'm not too sure if it's Ohio or somewhere they're building another big one. They cost gigantic amounts of money. And also, a lot of the gear to make the chips machines, I think, comes from the Netherlands. So how we are going to get to first place in this quantum computers, he didn't flesh it out. I'll be interested to see. I personally think it's a dead duck. I think other countries have got far too big a lead. The amount of money that you would need to put into it. If you cast your mind back to years and years and years and years and years ago, I used to use an ICL, which was like a British version of an IBM computer. You know, there was a lot of government intervention in stuff in that. I don't think it was a good example. The wind, yeah, fine, okay, let's go for the wind. I don't think we've got any global software companies. We've got companies like Sage, but I think they are reasonably niche companies in a world scale. We've got nothing like Google, Microsoft, Amazon computer systems, or Facebook, Meta. All of them big companies out in Silicon Valley, outside San Francisco, where the orange groves and apricot groves used to be, or they're out in India, beside Mumbai, in the tech parks out there, or they're in China with a Huawei. I just think these other companies have just got so much lead. The amount of money that you would need to put into it would just be phenomenal. But then again, he's saying it's not government money. He wants private money to fund a lot of these things. Money will go where it can best see the best return. And the problem that I have with the offshore windy farms, yeah, great. The same again, most of the owners of the offshore is not British companies. They're Scandinavian ones, Swedish and Norwegian governments owns bits. The Munich County Council owns stuff. I believe a lot of the actual windy generator things are made by Siemens. I'm not too sure if the other one's Mitsubishi makes some of them. I don't know if there's any British firms doing much on that. Prove us wrong. There might be a British firm making these things. Don't know. I thought the big ones though was like Siemens. And then he went on to things like medicines and personalized to your DNA. I think Britain has a good past, and it's got some big companies like Glaxo and people like that. But they don't employ zillions and zillions of people. Plus the fact is, we don't make a lot of the drugs in the UK. Take a look. A lot of the stuff, once it goes to generic, it gets made out in places like India. I don't know. I cannot see where there's a load of jobs. Some little niches, fine, okay. And then he hammered this phrase, why not Britain? After each one, like, Wendy's, why not Britain? Quantum computers, why not Britain? Medicines, why not Britain? Yeah, why not Britain? I just think the 3 examples that were given were niche, and I don't think that they're going to make a dramatic difference volume-wise, job-wise, and stuff like that. Why wouldn't companies come to the UK? Taxes are relatively high. That's why companies go to Ireland, because the corp tax across there, the basic income tax for companies, is cheaper than Ireland. Productivity on the whole tends to be lower in the UK. Many reasons for that. Are people paid not much? Maybe they haven't got equipment to do the job, blah, blah, blah. And you're competing against industries which are established elsewhere. You're not going to be, unless something radical changes in manufacturing processes, things like making electrical goods, China, Southeast Asia, Mexico, have kind of got that tied up. Go through, look at the industries over the years that Britain's lost. I'm not suggesting in any way should these be resurrected or brought back, but think along the lines of why each of these industries left the UK. Shipbuilding, steel's in the news at the moment. Used to be British Steel, then it was Chorus, then it's some other, and used to be owned by an Indian company, and I think it's believed by a Chinese company in Scunthorpe. And I drove past Scunthorpe. It's absolutely huge, the steelworks. Go down. I've been on the old Redcar place. That was huge. I was there when they were putting the site prep in back in the 70s. The place was massive. Hundreds, thousands of people gone. Turbine manufacturing. My dad used to work for Vickers, then he worked for Parsons, Pitt and Turner, building turbines. I think it's taken over by Mitsubishi or somebody or whatever. Cars. Austin, Rover, Jaguar. Austin, gone. Rover, taken over. Jaguar, taken over. Land Rover, taken over. Mini, owned by BMW. Rolls-Royce, owned by VW. You know, Bentley, owned by Beamers. You know, or the other way around. The car companies in this country, who owns them? Honda, down at Swindon. Nissan, south of the town. Toyota, down at Derby. French companies. Ford shrunk. Vauxhall's got sold up to a French company. There's no indigenous main car companies. We assemble them in this country. Head offices aren't here anymore. Chocolate companies, Rowntree's, Cadbury's. Rowntree's got by Nestle, Cadbury's, the Yankees bought it out. Ford plant down Southampton used to make transits. I think that got shunted across to Turkey. Maybe it was cheaper. These are all ones that used to be in the UK, employed thousands and thousands of people. They're all gone. The management, the ownership, it's gone of them. It didn't just happen over the Tories the last 13 years. It happened before Labour and Tories and Labour before that. It's been a decline. How do you stop it and do it? I didn't hear anything in his speech to remedy it. Anyway, back to the speech. Says we've got current problems. Says we didn't want to be stuck in the past, and energy security, productivity, immigration. Didn't say anything, but just said immigration. Didn't say whether it was good, bad, wanted more, less, how he's going to control it, if at all. Didn't say anything about it. Patterns the same: short-termism, third-termism, cronyism, crisis, sticking plasters, never cure any. Basically give the Tories a good kicking over that again, which you would expect them to do. I mentioned the NHS, so there's a winter crisis every winter. That's just like Easter, you get Easter eggs if you're lucky. You know, them Cadbury ones, not made by an English company anymore. They're by the Yankee company, and you know, the egg. And you can get a whole one in your mouth. Get a sugar rush. There's no long-term solution. Okay. If you had to stop there, right, and just said, how do you intend to remedy the NHS? The rest of his talk would have been worthwhile to me. 7 million on the NHS waiting list. I believe it's up to 7 million too. Depends how you measure the numbers and stuff like that. Says it's a compounding crisis. Yeah, I agree. How would you solve it? He said a few lines, you know, like it's been the worst decade, and there's evidence of this. Himself, he mentioned the 7 million on the waiting list. Fine, okay. But all he's doing here is telling you the problems. Where's the solutions? Okay. These wind emails and softwares and quantum computers and medicines for your DNA and all this sort of care. Yeah, years, 10 years possibly in the future before we show anything meaningful, I would imagine. He says the Tories, and this is give him a good kick in here, the Tories made the problems worse, but he accepted that there were problems under previous governments. He didn't say Labour governments, but that's what he meant. He says there's one question you should ask yourself. Do I feel any better off than when the Tories took power 13 years ago? You might have more money, but does it buy more? Inflation. Cost of living's went up. Used to cost you £2.50 for a pint of beer. Now it's £3. You're just in the cheap northeast. It's not London prices. But wherever you're, the same sort of thing. He says they've messed around. Same old, trying to clean up the mess. He says that they're devoid of ideas. Right? Okay. Basically, he's saying the other lot are shite. Tories are shite. They've messed the whole thing up. Give me a chance. I think a lot of people in the country will say, I'll take anybody over what we've got now. You know, anybody's got to be better than more or less. Then again, you've got a new broom. You've got old Rashid Sunako or Rashid Sunak or whatever President Biden calls him. Us in the UK, we just call him Rishi Sunak. He's light, he's bright, he's quick on his feet. He's got a pedigree of working in banks. Could he change people in a year and a half? Events, dear boy, events. Could do. Or he could cut the distance between where Labour are now in the polls and where the Tories are to making it a lot closer. Will the SNP people form a coalition with Labour? In the past, they didn't seem keen on it. Will the Libs, who've got maybe half a dozen seats or something, will they form up with Labour? Or will Labour have a small majority? Could Sunak do the impossible? Jump up and win. John Major, Neil Kinnock, back in the 90s, anybody give John Major a chance. He beat Kinnock. You don't know what's going to happen. He go back to his speech now. He believes in the possibility of the future. It's all just warm, nice expressions, you know. He says the country needs a new government. Yeah, a lot of people agree with you on that. Says we need a new way of governing. Yep, a lot of people will agree with you on that. He says Britain doesn't use the UK. He says Britain needs both. He says, and if Labour get in, Britain will get both. Okay, fine, okay. We still haven't got, apart from a few windmills and supercomputers, how any of this growth that we need to generate the money is going to happen. But then again, it's a political speech. He says he's going to come out with a big book full of all the facts and figures, and you can pore over them and have a look at them, and it'll be fully funded. Okay, we'll look forward to that. He says the government needs to try, yeah, this just got adjective woven here, transform the business and the government and make them agile, strong, dynamic, and focused. So we've got all these adjectives floating about: agile, strong, dynamic, focused. Okay, fine. Use the adjectives that you feel comfortable with. But how? He says to do this, and here's was his big reveal. He's built up to it. He's told you that the Tories were shite. He's told you the future is going to be better in the future, jam tomorrow. Or marmalade, people that like marmalade. Or honey, if you like honey. In the future, it's going to be better than the jam, marmalade, or honey that you've had in the past. That Tory marmalade, it's rubbish. The Labour jam and marmalade and honey, it's going to be great. He says to do that, we need mission-driven government. Everybody goes, yeah, what does that mean? Mission-driven government. So, is it going to be like that old Mission Impossible, you know? Here's your mission if you want to actually ding, 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 ding. Used to have like a little tape recorder and it would come around. It would only play once. And they must have had some acid or something in it. But I'm not too sure. You kind of do it with a CD, because like CDs is old hat now. You'd have to do it with like an Instagram message or something, wouldn't you? His mission could come through on the Insta. And it would like evaporate whatever it does in 30 seconds or a minute. You can only read it once. You know, reply to the text if you're accepting this mission.